symphony of speed and style.
If it's written in the stars.
Friends of Top Speed, this is another journey, another Top Speed roadshow. We continue with far towards the Maroba, looking further into the Grenadier.
If it's written in the stars.
So one of the other features in the vehicle is that this specific model has got, apart from the center differential lock, it's also got an axle differential lock. So I'm going to engage the center diff. We are in low range, okay, and then we're going to reverse up the slope. Okay. I am not changing anything in the vehicle, okay. I'm going to go up nice and slow. It will lose some traction, but it's also got traction control fitted to it. And it's an effortless drive over this. No fuss whatsoever. And that is largely thanks to, apart from the engine and the transmission, but to an exceptionally well set up chassis suspension configuration, allowing good wheel articulation, because the longer the wheels are on the ground, obviously the better the traction would be for me. Okay, and again as we go down, descent control is still on. Okay, I'm going to use that again, and then I will not apply the foot brake at all as we descend here. Okay, so for now we are back into low range. So the infotainment system, Apple and Android compatible, for those who's really interested in that. Very handy feature that we've got, specifically for the off-road conditions that we drive in, is what we call the off-road page. Okay. And some of the pages that's available there is this the angles at which we are going to drive at. Okay, so we're going to go on a little bit of a side slope here. I'm going to take it nice and easy. We're still in low range just to make the ride more comfortable. And let's see at what angle this vehicle will tilt. Okay, you are welcome to scream. Okay, just do not stop breathing, please. Okay. So look how nice and slow this vehicle can crawl. Okay, there we are, 23 degrees. At some point we were. Okay, 23 degrees. And it's still very much within the limitations of the vehicle. Now a lot of people may ask, so what is the rollover angle of this vehicle? Well, it is not specified, and no brand will specify it nowadays. Mainly because there are so many variable factors that will determine and influence that rollover angle. The type of terrain that we drive at, your tire pressures, do you have stuff on the roof, that will all affect the rollover angle of the vehicle. But let me tell you, we were at 23 degrees now. You can go quite a bit further than that before this vehicle will actually reach its limits. Okay, I'm going to go back into high range now, just to continue the on-road drive. Okay, into high range again, must be neutral the transmission before you do the high range low range transition. Okay, switch the descent control off. Right, now we're going to go for a little bit of an open road drive on a gravel road, and this is really where the comfort level of this vehicle will come to the fore. Considering the fact that you've got solid axles, which tends to be a bit more bumpy normally in other vehicles. Again, the suspension setup, absolutely amazing. It's got Bolstein shock absorbers, which is a serviceable item by the way, so over time if the shock absorber really worked hard, you can take them off and have them serviced and fit them back in again. Eibach suspension coils, which absorbs the shocks and the bumps in the road exceptionally well. Let's feel a bit of acceleration. And then also, just hold on, I'm going to brake hard. .7 tons of vehicle on Brembo brakes. Safety first, always a consideration for vehicle manufacturers. No steering bumps, no steering feedback whatsoever when you do also acceleration and then braking thereafter, deceleration test, which is also important. We shouldn't always think but acceleration. What is the deceleration capability of the vehicle also? That's quite important. Right, so again we're just going to go. There's obviously seatbelt warnings that go off, so let's not worry about that for now. Okay, so a little bit of corrugation in this road. Obviously some rocks, some bumps, and again you feel the suspension and the level of comfort and ease in which it goes over gravel roads. It's really, really reassuring and very, very comfortable. Okay, I'm going to go through some bumps intentionally just to feel. Something also to take note of, the steering system is full hydraulic. There is no electric assistance whatsoever, which of course lends itself to reducing possibility of electrical faults because of sensors, etc., but also feedback, especially for off-road driving from our hydraulic system. So I quickly want to talk about these two very unique features here. The one is the off-road and the other is the wading function. So the off-road function will work both high range and low range. In high range speeds up to 60 km an hour, more or less. What it does is the following. When we drive in a dry riverbed like this, for example, or go steep up or down, you may find a branch in front of the vehicle which will then set off your park distance sensors, PDC. So the off-road function switches off those unnecessary warnings, if I can call it that, when we go off-road. Amongst others, the auto stop start feature will be switched off. Your park sensors will be switched off. I can take my seatbelt off now because sometimes I want to take it off to lean out, and then there won't be seatbelt warnings. I can open the door and still continue driving without getting a door ajar warning. And then also, very importantly, it switches my electronic stability control, my on-road safety program, stability program, into an off-road mode, which will eliminate throttle interference and application of brakes by the vehicle. In other words, I can maintain momentum, especially in sandy conditions. So I'm going to use this just as a matter of demonstration. So press and hold and press to confirm again, and then I will see off-road function is enabled and my ESC is switched into off-road mode. Okay. But I am, other than that, not going to change anything. I'm not going to lock the center diff. I'm going to stay in high range. Okay. In other words, I'm basically still in on-road mode, in freeway mode. Okay. And I'm going to proceed obviously nice and slow initially in. It makes a little bit of an articulation. So this is really loose, really deep sand. But the off-road function does not change anything in the power delivery. The engine still delivers the power as per normal. The driveline still acts or is activated and functioning as per normal. So nothing changes in that regard. Okay, so I'm just going to play around a bit and go in and out of the track. Remember, we are still in high range, in normal on-road mode. You can call it that. Okay, one of the screens also available on the off-road page. This screen here, which gives me tire pressures and tire temperatures, but very importantly, it also gives me my transmission and my transfer gearbox temperatures. Something we tend to neglect and forget when we drive in an automatic vehicle. So important to note is that although it is the same ZF transmission that's taken over or that's been borrowed from the BMW, this torque converter in the vehicle is a heavy duty torque converter, high torque unit which can handle up to 1000 Newton meters of torque, and that's crucially important, especially if you drive in very loose conditions like this, to prevent the transmission from overheating.
Fellow friends of Top Speed, that was all we had for you in today's episode. Remember, when the journey continues, we are a symphony of speed and sound, end until we meet again. Bye bye.
I get down. Power and elegance. Fast, most jaw-dropping, more of a cosmic fusion of performance and precision. Is a symphony of speed and style. Jaw-dropping, more of a cosmic fusion of performance and precision. Is a symphony of speed and style.